Hello, my name is Alexis Martini, and I received Module 5, which was listening for this application project. Listening is not a linear form of communication. It includes receiving, interpreting, recalling, evaluating, and responding. Me, myself, I am a action-oriented listener, which basically means that I prefer organized and accurate information. I am also a content-oriented listener. That also means I prefer analytic and in-depth information, and I like to hear multiple sides to a problem. I believe I am this way because of the way that I was raised. My grandmother and my mother are both of these types of listeners. They would sometimes even ask myself to repeat certain things or go more into depth about certain aspects of my story. And at the time, I felt it was really unnecessary. But now that I'm older and I've had to kind of put myself in certain positions with friends or coworkers or bosses, anybody really, where it requires a transfer of information, I can definitely see why my grandmother and my mother pushed me to be more detailed about things I would talk to them about. In this specific instance that I'm going to explain to you, I am going to tell a story about a personal encounter I had with one of my friends, Allie. She was trying to explain a story to me about something that had happened between her and her boyfriend. She kept switching parts, coming back to them, repeating information she had already mentioned. She was being so general to the point where I had to ask questions about her story. And while I felt really bad that I had to ask those questions because I didn't want her to feel like she was sounding irrelevant or wasn't making any sense, but I genuinely could not understand because of the repetition and how sloppy it was and how she was talking and communicating with me. My listening was just all over the place at the moment. I was yearning for like specific details, organization, accurate information. She was bringing things up that happened years and years and years ago. Nothing was relevant, nothing was consistent. It definitely lacked everything that I want as a listener, which made me feel really bad just because I stood there looking at her with a blank expression because I didn't really know what the point of the story was. And at the end of the day, I didn't even really understand the problem that she was having with her boyfriend. In conclusion, because of this encounter with Allie, it became extremely clear to me that I wanted in depth information that was organized and explained appropriately. Among further investigation, I then realized I obtained this type of listening from my grandmother and mother by reflecting on past events that have taken place. Learning skills and obtaining skills from family members is extremely normal, and I know some of us might not really want to take that kind of responsibility or even acknowledge that kind of trait, but listening, even though some people may or may not agree, I personally believe that listening is an inherited trait. It is a learned trait. If you're raised a certain way, or even if you know, want certain qualities for yourself, you are going to pursue on those traits and want those for yourself and maybe even want those for other people. Thank you.